Okay, this one might look a little bit rough, but bear with me. So we're going to talk a little bit about prostheses, and particularly like something wrong with the prostheses versus like the muscle weakness, because I feel like the muscle weakness is a little bit easier to typically figure out. So first we're going to talk about a below knee prosthesis. And I like to think about it as like if the knee joint was in a different place versus it being below knee. But anyway, so we'll talk about first is if the prosthesis is too far forward or too far backwards. So if the prosthesis is positioned too far backwards, when you're hitting the ground initially, you are hitting kind of with that front of your foot. And then so to end up getting the back of that foot down, you're going to have to go into that recurvatum. So you're going to have kind of that excessive knee extension. Versus if you're hitting with the back of your foot, the prosthesis is now too far forward. So prosthesis too far back, you're hitting with that front of the foot. And I always like to draw it in my head, like on that piece of paper in the test, like very excessively, and being like, okay, how would the foot hit? The foot is going to hit here, which means we're going to have to go into a lot of knee extension to be able to get that to hit the ground flat. So you're having that recurvatum. Versus if the prosthesis is now too far forward, you kind of draw that on your piece of paper, we're going to have to bend that knee. It's not great, but we'll have to bend that knee quite a bit to be able to get now that on the floor. So you're going to have that excessive knee flexion. So that's how I like to think about it with just that below knee amputation, that prosthesis there. And is the prosthesis too far forward or too far back? Because it can be kind of hard to get into there. Next, we're going over into the book. This is page 495. So I feel like the long or short prostheses is a little bit easier to figure out. I was just trying to look for patterns. One of the things I found that was like, I'm like, is it a stiff heel cushion or is it a soft cushion? Like, how do I figure that out? So with a soft cushion, that means that you're going to have excess of whatever kind of cushion that is. So if it's a plantar flexion cushion and it's soft, you're going to have excessive plantar flexion. Now, if you look at, so that was for an above knee amputation. Now, if we're looking at the below knee amputation, if the dorsiflexion bumper is too soft, then you're going to have excessive dorsiflexion. So if it's a soft bumper, you're having excess of the movement. If you're having a hard bumper, the bumper is too stiff, you're going to have more of the other movement. So if it's a soft if it's a stiff dorsiflexion bumper, you're going to have excessive plantar flexion. Whereas if it's a stiff heel cushion, this one is a little bit weird. This is, you could kind of have that rotation. I didn't see it anywhere else. So those are kind of the things that I feel like are a little bit trickier about prostheses. And then I feel like just like kind of reading through some of the other ones helped, but I hope that helps with some of the more confusing stuff.